Hey everybody. I started sharing my no-sew journal that I am making with the prompts that Meg Journals so kindly has hosted on her channel on YouTube, and she's on Instagram and Facebook as well. And I have covered a bunch of them, not necessarily in order, which is the fun thing about this, is she's provided enough that you could be inspired each day, or you just pick one and go with it. It's something that can help some of us if we feel stuck, kind of like writer's block, if you will, but for those of us who need a creative outlet of any sort. But today I'm going to show you what I'm calling my No-Sew Nano, which is this little one that I was not going to work on while I was doing the Sew November project, but I decided to for a couple of reasons. One, tell me if any of you feel this, but my Sew November journal is, I don't know, it's one of my favorites, and I want it to be a combination of things that I love to do. And I want it to be, I don't know, I guess the word I'm looking for is artistic or something, but it's, I don't know how to explain it, but I don't want to write in it quite yet because I'm still using it to film lots of the prompts that I'm working on for No-Sew November. So I guess I didn't want to muck it up is the description I'm looking for. So I went to one of my pre-made no-sews and I thought, well, I can muck this one up. And then I've proven to myself that I love my mucked up journals as artistically as I love those that I'm making, you know, quote unquote pretty. So anyway, I have been working in this one constantly with my writing, mostly because I didn't want to write in the other one until I have decided which pages are going to be writable in that new one. So, you know, I'm going to share that too. I have a bit of an ADHD brain where I hop around from thing to thing, and so I'm trying to learn to not make promises that I can't keep. But I thought it would be fun to share this one because it's getting quite chunky. I might be finished with it soon, and I love it so much that I just want to share it. So this one I did in my typical no-sew style of taping, different kinds of tape, sometimes gluing some papers in between the pages that kind of keeps them bound. And this is a learning journal for me too, because I discovered this was the first journal that I did actually cover to cover with just gluing. When I started it, I had just glued with glue stick this player piano paper in between the pages. And I discovered as this gets really chunky that those pages are kind of ripping, mostly because this is really old paper, so it's brittle. But also just the binding isn't holding. So I've gone through and secured some with either gluing other kinds of paper, some I haven't gotten to yet, or by adding tape to keep it stronger. So I'll show you all of that, but just wanted to show that indeed it is a no-sew. And then when I had it all stacked and taped together. I just glued this little fabric scrap over the binding, and it has held pretty good. Like I said, there were some pieces in the middle as it got chunky that were starting to rip out of the glued paper bound, but I went through and put some tape on those pages, and otherwise this tiny little scrap of paper with some, it must have done Fabri-Tac because it's really hard, but you can see it's not sticking to each page, so the tape is really holding each individual page together, but this just kind of makes the binding look good and is a little bit more security and keeps the covers together. Anyway, this is made of junk I've collected, junk mail, junk, you know, memories. This cover is, it's actually a birthday card that my mom sent me last February 2024 when I turned 47. And I loved the art, which is by this Tokyo Milk. I just love it. And so I wasn't going to do anything with it, but then of course I started playing. And when the new shareable files on Raw Pixel came out, I just was doing some sketching based on those. So this artwork is not my original artwork. It is just freehand sketching things that I found online that I love. So this little reading mouse under a leaf, and then the acorn and oak leaf, and then I just redrew the giraffe over the scrap. And then this is something, I don't know if you guys have seen it on TikTok, where you take a piece of just regular Scotch tape and stick it to a fibrous book page, and you can pull it off and you basically make your own washi. I'll show you some other places where I've done that in here. But so I also wanted to share this as a writing journal. I shared one recently because people ask me all the time, how do you write in these when there's so many textures and scraps, and how do you actually write in them? So I wanted to show how I write in them. Please don't read my writing, you know, unless you're really interested in some boring stuff. But I just tape together random scraps of paper that I have, and then if I have something else that I can put on top of a paper that's like a card that I can write on, I'll do that. Sometimes I'll skip over some pages just because I know that it's going to get chunky. Sometimes I'll write on a separate piece of paper, not in the book already, and then I'll add it into the book. Oh, here's one of those taped book page scraps. I'll just tape it in and then I'll kind of cover over it. There's some tissue paper that added a nice sound. There's another of those book page Scotch tape pieces. Oops, what's happening here? Oh, it came undone. And I just play on every page. Sometimes I'll cover up over what I wrote. There's fabrics and there's stamps and this was a free digital. I'm afraid I can't remember who provided that. I'm terrible about that, I'm sorry. And I just add in these bits. This is envelope. I've been writing a lot lately. There's been some stuff going on that, it's a little pocket. I've just needed to write. So like I said, I didn't want to muck up my new journal that I'm creating for Sew November. So I decided to write in this one. Another little sketch from the free image library. This is a prescription pharmacy bag that I just taped in. This is, I think her name is Cat Sooks on Instagram or Facebook. And she does this great artwork with these great quotes, and I print them on my HP Sprocket, which is this little pocket-size printer that has sticker paper in it. And then I tape those into my pages. Here's one I had to reinforce with some more tape. Oh, and here's the bit of book page that I taped with Scotch tape and then put on the cover. Isn't that cool? I don't know why I thought that was neat. Yeah, some pages I've not done anything with. Like I said, I kind of skip around. My junk journals are a place for me to just kind of be free, you know. This I put in here. This is funny. This is a picture of my dad from, we think, the 60s. When he was a Boilermaker. He has since passed. When he retired from his job of 50 years, he did bring home some office supplies, and I have been very slowly going through them since he passed away. You know, when people pass away, I've learned, a loved one passing away, you go through the things that you want to keep, the memorabilia, and it's funny, when I look back, the strangest things that I kept, that I wanted to keep in memory of him, and for some reason it was his office supplies, was one of the things that I said, well, yeah, I'll use those. Part of it, I think, is because he thought it was something that could be used. It might have been that he thought, you know, damn the man, I'm taking these office supplies type of thing. I don't know. Not really. He had a great job, the great company. But anyway, I don't know. There was just something about that stuff that I wanted to keep. And so in my junk journals, let's see, this is 11 years later, I finally used all of these self-adhesive file folder labels for something. Lord only knows. But I wanted to keep the old packaging. And then my sister had sent this picture of him that I printed on my HP Sprocket, and I just kind of put in like a frame of this package. And I think it says 1983 was this office supply that he brought home. This was his red stapler, which if you've ever seen the movie, if you know, you know, he did take his swing line, and so I have his old stapler, and I have some old staples that he had brought home at some point too. And now these weren't like of the year of his retirement, I don't think, but he had these from long ago, and I just love this box, and I'm still using these staples. And then I'll use the box in a junk journal for sure. Put a little, so that was something special I put in there. A little pocket, little memory bits. This one I reinforced with washi because it started to kind of come loose there. And it can be that I make mine different sizes each page. Some tutorials show that it can be wise to make every page the same size, and that's probably to have more secure binding. But I love the feeling of several different sizes to my junk journals. So if I have to reinforce, I have to reinforce. It's no big deal. And if a page falls out, it's no big deal. Like, it's junk. And it's special, but I've used it, you know. I've given it more than one life. So, I don't know. I guess I don't feel wasteful if something falls out. This was a cool, these book page pockets. I think I learned about these from Natasha on Treasure Books originally. I've seen some other people do them too, but I love them, and I hoarded them for a long time, only to find that a year later, I still have pretty much all the ones that I originally made. So, but I also realized that the ones I originally made, I hadn't quite paid attention to the book pages I was using. And when I went through and looked at them, there were definitely some risque moments in this particular Nora Roberts book that I used. So I wasn't going to put them in books that I sell. And I put this adorable little art journal that my sister-in-law sent me in Happy Mail recently. Look at this, you guys. She does this amazing little artwork and puts them in these little books. And they're so happy. It's like a happy little visit. Look at that. Oh, she's an awesome artist. And she loves to journal and make these little books. So we've been sending each other inspirational bits. Isn't that cute? So I put that in this little special pocket here, and I made a little hidden paper clip just out of junk. And she made this little sticker too, so I put that sticker on there. It's just, I've had so much fun realizing what you can put together to make a book. Look at these old recipes. I keep forgetting there's a friend I want to send a bunch of these to who's putting together a cookbook journal. I just love the old paper, old cards. And there's tons of space still in this book to write or to collage or put stickers, glue, you know, all the things that I love to do, but it is getting a little bit chunky. I like writing on a chunky journal. I don't know what that's about. I had no idea. Usually, I mean, in my past, I would love a flat journal with an open page. But lately in my life, the joy that I'm getting from these off-kilter layers is, I don't know, it's fun. My handwriting isn't perfect, you know, and I don't care. I just want to write without caring about that. But then I'll find like a cardstock, or this is watercolor paper. I put some swatches on, and I'll just put that under a page when I write if I need it to be a little bit more stable. And often in the journals that I make and that lots of junk journalers make, they'll include a card like that in journals. I think we call them journaling cards, where you can usually write on one side of them, but you can also use them as stability. This page, I put this tab on it that sticks out pretty far on the journal because, whoops, you can't quite see that. It is the list of things I wanted to accomplish today. I love making tabs out of junk. That's what this is. This was from, obviously, some tea. This was from packaging. This was from packaging, more pages that I can still write on. And we're kind of at the end here. These were pieces of book pages that where I may have like cut out a beautiful illustration to put into one of the books that I make and sell. And then I don't want to get rid of the rest of the paper. I feel so wasteful that I put it in my books because I know I'm just going to cover it up. But one of the things I talk about in the bigger Sew November book that I'm working on is how I am making every page the beautiful things that I love, not just total junk that I wouldn't put in something that I would sell or gift to someone else. I love this padded packaging paper. I love how it sounds and feels. So that's that one. And I hope you enjoy. Ask questions. Don't forget to just try stuff to the best of your ability, because that's what I'm learning the most about myself by doing. That didn't make any sense. I don't know how to say that sentence better other than give it a try. Have no fear, you know, all those inspirational cliches. But if you don't know how to start, just grab some junk and tape it together. Or glue it together, staple it together, if this is of any interest to you. Also, I can make these and sell them for you if you like. If you fear that it's not something you have the patience, time, or interest in, but you like the look of the book, you know, definitely. And I can make it prettier than this or just as junky, whatever you like. I do have some for sale in my bookcase booth at a store in town. That store is called 2nd Street Stuff in Waterford, Wisconsin. If you are local, definitely can go check out. I have a whole dig bin of these junky guys in there. Have a great day, and I hope to have some more filming of my super giant Sew November book. Maybe you've seen some of this. But I'll film some more of this lovely today. But so this is my Sew Nano, Sew November Nano, because it's just this tiny little sister to that big guy. Oh gosh, thanks for spending any time at all, your interest, and take care of yourself. Thanks again. Have a great day. Love you guys. Bye.